weather seems okay. They said it was supposed to rain, but I don't think that's going to happen anyways. And what did I read today? How about this one? Apparently there's this drone which people say could, quote, I guess, be invisible for things like radars and all that. This one says, this NVIDIA Jetson-Powered invisible drone disappears from radar in a flash. That does sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, and it says researchers from China's Zhejiang University claim to have developed a drone with a sci-fi-esque cloaking device that makes it entirely invisible during flight, whether it's in the air, on the ground, or even against the moving backdrop of the sea, to electromagnetic sensors at least. Decades ago, the advent of metamaterials and transformation optics sparked considerable interest in invisibility cloaks, which have been mainly demonstrated in ground and waveguide modalities. However, an omnidirectional flying cloak has not been achieved, primarily due to the challenges associated with dynamic synthesis of metasurface dispersion. The researchers claim in an abstract to their paper, we demonstrate an autonomous aero-amphibious invisibility cloak that incorporates a suite of perception, decision, and execution modules capable of maintaining invisibility amidst kaleidoscope backgrounds and neutralizing external stimulation. Key to the drone's success in hiding is its onboard processing system powered by NVIDIA Jetson-Xavier NX. The drone includes 3 core sensors, an electromagnetic radiation detector, a visible light camera, and a gyroscope. Data from these are fed into a generation elimination TensorFlow model, which then controls reconfigurable metasurfaces on the outside of the drone through an ST Microelectronics STM32F103 microcontroller and an RS485 serial bus. As a consequence, when freely shuttling among sea, land, and air, the drone can maintain invisibility at all times or disguise itself into other elusive scattering appearances. Well, that's kind of interesting again. Sounds something straight out of a sci-fi movie and all that. But they actually make stuff like this illegal, like let's just say this type of tech for a regular person, because with the hysteria of drones and so forth, can you imagine this? People being able to use this, oh, I'm cloaking this from radars and stuff. Would this actually be considered kind of like a military weapon of sort per se? Or like a regular individual should be allowed to use this, I guess, in a government's mind? And this was kind of interesting with that news yesterday of a lightning striking an airplane. How about this one? Apparently there was an airplane that dropped a huge tire, I guess, like when it was taking off from the airport area. This one says, moment United Airlines flight UAL-35 lost a tire during takeoff from SFO. The flight has launched safely at LAX. Reports the tire hit the ground, bounced, and hit an employee's car in the parking lot. I guess that's good that no one was hurt, and it is what it is. Apparently you can see in the video when the plane was taking off, all of a sudden this tire just falls out. What was that due to? For example, somebody not closing, for example, an area tight enough? It makes you think too, just in terms of safety and stuff. I mentioned it before, I never realized how much, I guess, accidents and incidents there were related to manned aircraft before all this drone stuff, like when I got into it, because people kept fear-mongering it. So how about this? Fortunately, again, no one was hurt, but are people going to start fear-mongering and land all airplanes and so forth? Somebody could die. When it comes to safety, there's no such thing as overkill, even what was said here anyways. But yeah, this is one of those things where stuff happens, and fortunately no one was hurt. And then this was spreading in the news a lot here. It's kind of interesting, as apparently the author, J.K. Rowling, was, I guess, reported to the police because of something about, I guess, labeling a gender incorrectly, or that's the claim anyways. It says broadcaster reported J.K. Rowling to the police over alleged transphobic social media posts. Broadcaster India Willoughby has claimed that she reported, quote, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling to the police over alleged transphobia. In an interview with Byline TV on Wednesday night, Willoughby, a former Celebrity Big Brother contestant and Loose Women co-host, claimed that she reported Rowling to the Northumbria police for repeatedly misgendering her online as part of an ongoing feud. J.K. Rowling has definitely committed a crime. I'm legally a woman. She knows I'm a woman, and she called me a man. Willoughby said in an interview, it's a protected characteristic and that it is a breach of both the Equalities Act and the Gender Recognition Act. She's tweeted that out to 14 million followers. Willoughby continued saying, quote, I have reported J.K. Rowling to the police for what she said which I don't know if it's going to be treated as a hate crime, malicious communications, but it's a cut and dry offense as far as I'm concerned. When asked about the situation by Variety, a Northumbria police spokesperson offered the following statement saying, quote, "On Monday, March 4th, we received a complaint about a post on social media. We are currently awaiting to speak to the complainant further." Representatives for Rowling did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. Rowling responded to Willoughby's revelation on X, formerly known as Twitter, by saying that she had consulted a lawyer who said, quote, "that not only did I have a clearly winnable case against India Willoughby for defamation, but that India's obsessive targeting of me over the past few years may meet the legal threshold for harassment." I'm just thinking, how does that work legally? For example, there's a lot of people who would call people a certain gender just, I guess, as a way to make fun of them. For example, I guess the most stereotypical example would be telling a guy, for example, "oh, you hit like a girl," like that type of thing. Like, would that be considered like a hate crime overall, especially in this context? Or I guess another example, like you'd see in TV shows, for example, where if you know a guy's not gay and he keeps hanging around with another male, for example, for whatever reason, like they're always together, then someone can make fun of them saying, "hey, how are you and your girlfriend doing?" Like as kind of like an insult. Like in that case, if the person repeatedly does that, could you actually sue the person, like law-wise, saying, "oh, like you are basically misgendering me, so I'll sue you in that case"? Like again, it's all about context too, isn't it? Like in that regards, and even in that situation, I wouldn't see how that would work overall. Although that does raise an interesting point too, how she was implying, like the author, where what the other person is doing could constitute as harassment. That's kind of interesting if that actually ends up to be the case. I know a lot of times actually there are people who cross the line, if that's what you want to say anyways, in terms of thinking they could just say and do anything to people non-stop online because they're behind a computer. I don't know, anonymous trolls or whatever you want to call it. So it'd be kind of interesting if the tables have actually turned in that case, where normally she wouldn't have cared, but because the person is so persistent that she will follow through, like in this case. But who knows what's going to happen here. But either way, again, I'm just trying to think again from a legal standpoint how that actually works out in terms of, let's say, misgendering a person in this context anyways. Alright, see you guys later.